Welcome you guys to another conversation about hope. I'm Noah, and I'm glad to be joined today by Erin Buck of the Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation. They have a very exciting event coming up soon. Is it next month that you'll start the ride?
It is next month, October 1st. We get on planes to head up to Minneapolis. In fact, some of the teams driving a few days even before
Really?
that.
Okay, right on. So it is Light the Trail is what this event is going to be called by the Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation. And it is a wonderful, innovative idea, a wonderful way of sharing about mental health and suicide prevention and getting rid of the stigma, bringing awareness around those topics that I've never heard of anybody doing before. So it's kind of a crazy idea, which I love, crazy, creative ways of sharing that message of hope. So I'm excited to hear more from you about that as we go on today, what Light the Trail is and what the purposes behind it are and what some of the experiences that the riders have had, because you've done this before, right? This is one of the...
Yes, they actually did it in 2017.
Okay.
Was the first time they did it. It was even further. It was coast to coast. They did in reverse Meriwether Lewis's trek.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
So
it was a lot
reverse
longer.
across the whole nation.
Yes.
Jeez. Yeah, this is incredible. These guys are dedicated, absolutely, for sure.
Mhm.
But first, before we dive into that, Erin, I'm just curious, what first drew you to become involved with the Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation?
Well, actually, when I was in junior high, which was a very long time ago, we had something called the CARE team in our schools in North Texas. And then I was a member of what is called the core team of that CARE team, which is very much like modern day Hope Squad.
Wow.
We got some extra special training, those of us in the core team, to do the peer-to-peer. Talking, visiting, however you want to call that. But so I first became involved, as my children say, last century during the 80s. And then I have just always been involved since. It's just been a cause near and dear to my heart. And even through different career paths I've taken, I have always volunteered with philanthropic events surrounding mental health, even before it became the kind of latest, greatest thing, if you will,
Yes.
lately. So I've been involved with it literally for 35 years.
Wow. That's fantastic. What a wonderful cause to devote your life to. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's one of the things that I love about the concept of this Light the Trail ride is that it is really very simple. It's like you said, it's a conversation. And learning how to have a real conversation is a valuable skill, especially in this day and age. Absolutely. Sometimes mental illness can be this big, scary thing because we don't understand everything about it, because it's invisible. But we should not underestimate the power of having a conversation, of listening to each other and talking. So I'm glad that you could take the chance and do that with us today. Could you let us know just a little bit more what exactly this route and this version of Light the Trail will be like?
Yes. So we are marketing it as we're cycling from the Canadian border to the Gulf of Mexico. So what that looks like is the Texas teams will be driving or flying, depending on what you're doing, to Minneapolis, and then driving up to the headwaters of the Mississippi River in Bemidji, Minnesota. So we'll be very close to the Canadian border.
Yeah.
And then the route actually will be following the Mississippi River all the way down to New Orleans. So hence the Gulf of Mexico. So that is about, depending on who you're talking to and what our GPS is looking at, somewhere between 1,800 and 2,300 miles.
It's a long way.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I will be in the sag wagon. I will not be riding a bicycle, but there are many teams involved. The main team, which was comprised of the same people who did it in 2017, was our co-founder, Tom Harris.
Yeah.
One of our board members, Isaac Manning, and it was kind of Isaac's idea, even back in 2017. Yeah. And so this is actually the 10th anniversary of the death of Jordan Elizabeth Harris. So they decided they needed to do something big to commemorate that. And this is what they're doing. So there are many teams, and then each rider on the teams will be cycling 50 to 60 miles a day. Some a little bit further, and then kind of rotating. So somebody has a day off while the other ones are riding. And then along the way, those of us not riding, which Ellen Harris will be on this journey, and Libby Manning, as I spoke to about their husbands before. And then we have Fraser Pergandy and Libby Harbin are also going with us. We're going to be following them kind of as support, but we are the ones that will also be going to the outreach events. The cyclists will also literally ride in and join us when they can. We are going to have some formal outreach events that are planned along the way. We're hitting 14 cities. So we're going to have about 6 or 7 very formal kind of outreach events. And then the rest of them are just conversations. Like you said, we're literally riding into these towns with our little flags and tents and everything else. And, you know, when you see a whole peloton of riders come through and they're all wearing these jerseys, it gets attention. And then what they did in 2017 with what we're also doing, again, this ride is meeting people where they are and having these conversations in a less formal setting. And one of the things that's so dear to me with our mission is ending the stigma surrounding mental health and actually talking about it. And I said that years ago, people used to whisper the word cancer when somebody had cancer. And now we've got every ride and walk and run possible. We want to do that with mental health. It's something that as long as we're human beings, we're going to have mental health. Exactly what I said in 2017, Meriwether Lewis had died by suicide. That's something in history people don't really know. So anyway, again, we're meeting people where they are and having those conversations.
Wow, that's beautiful. And what a wonderful way to honor Jordan on the 10th anniversary of her passing. To rescue people who might be in a similar situation to what she was. Absolutely. And give them an opportunity, a perspective, and a hope that maybe she just wasn't able to access at that time. I think that is so awesome what you said about ending the stigma, you know, to think about riding around in a bike suit and think about mental health. It's hard for me to draw a connection at first. I didn't see how they relate to each other. But sometimes what's necessary to let other people know that their feelings are valid and that you're willing to listen is if you do something outrageous. If you do something that kind of makes yourself look silly or take some of the attention, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so that's a wonderful way to do it and a fun way to do it. I think that hopefully with your trading on and off the days, nobody will get too saddle sore. But at the same time, it'll be a wonderful way to challenge yourselves. That challenge is very metaphorical. And in the wonderful video that I hope I'll remember to link later to this interview, just light the trail 2022. I love how each rider takes the opportunity to say, I'm riding for my daughter, or I'm riding for my son, or I'm riding for everyone who feels unheard. It kind of makes me emotional thinking about it, because you can tell that thought not only has got them through lots of hard miles of pedaling, but that thought gets them through a lot of hard days of life.
Oh, for sure. And no, there's also a major component of what we're doing is those hashtag ride 4, like the number 4. We're asking people, and they did this again in 2017 and it worked beautifully. So we're doing it again. Please send those to us. You know, on the website, it has my email address. Send those to me. And then we're already uploading those on the site. But then what I'm going to do is daily during the ride, put those on social media and let people know we're not just saying this, like we're really having a conversation before those riders head out after breakfast and say, today we are riding for, and we say that person's name and we take a minute to honor them. So it gets me emotional too. But I mean, people, please send those in from wherever. We will be riding for these people, and we're going to let their life mean something to somebody in the future also. Absolutely. Yeah, that was about to be my next question, is how can we support and how can we get involved if we're not in one of those? Obviously, the first thing is to check the map. If you can make it to any one of those events, whether they're formal or informal, or you can even, is this correct? You can come and ride along with the riders for a portion of the trail. If there is, and contact us and we'll let you know. But also we just added it to the website a couple of weeks ago. You can ride virtually, even if you want. Oh, wow. A lot of these cyclists here in Fort Worth use something called Strava, which is kind of like you've heard of it. So a lot of cyclists have, so they can jump on with us. They can do a GPS ride as well. They have both components there on the website, and you just kind of track it. If you, feel compelled to make a donation, that would be amazing. That's going to support us. There's even a part of the on the website there if you want to make a donation per mile that you're riding or one of the riders is riding. I mean, there's all different kinds of ways. So obviously, yes, we would love to raise some money to go towards the mission and support us, but just those ride fours and everything else that the Light the Trail group will be doing through the Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation, the support is going to mean so much to us. And having these conversations and sharing them with your spheres of influence wherever people live.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way that the riders will knit the country together by traveling. They've done it across horizontally now, and now they're just going to do vertically. And they're talking to people.
I didn't think about that. That's great.
I love that. So yeah, wherever you are, go ahead and follow Light the Trail. Actually, the follow Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation on Instagram, and then that hashtag is Ride4, the number 4, and you can include.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Sometimes
I was going to say we actually have 2 websites and 2 different sets of social media. So there is the Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation, and then it's Light the Trail Ride. So we have both of those. I've kind of combined them, but we wanted to keep them separate. We didn't want to totally link them. And then obviously through the websites, they'll link you too. So there's a lot of ways you can follow.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll include all of that. I'll sort through it after this interview, and I'll make sure that it's available here and also from the Hope Squad page. So once again, I just want to thank you for your wonderful work and all of the wonderful work that the Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation has been doing to end suicide and end mental illness. It's beautiful to work together. On behalf of Hope Squad, I just want to thank you for your support and for being kind of our big sister or big brother organization to work together on those same things. So thank you for having that conversation with me. And the one last thing I would invite you to share is at the end of this ride, when you've completed, we've made it all the way up near Canada down to the Gulf of Mexico, and you've spoken to hundreds of people and impacted thousands of lives through the online component and through the physical component. What do you hope our riders can feel, and what do you hope each person who supported and followed along in any way can feel like we've accomplished together at the end?
Yeah, great question. So for me, what I'm hoping, and from what they've already kind of shared, because we're also meeting every week to plan everything, they want the elation of feeling that they accomplished something major. They brought many conversations to light. Just as you said, hundreds or thousands of lives are going to be impacted by this. They're already being impacted by it, and we haven't been suited up yet. Just people sending us those ride fours or calling me and just saying like, oh my gosh, like this is what I needed, and I didn't even know this is what I needed. Like, thank you for writing for my loved one. So obviously we are hoping to meet a lot of people. That is the main goal of this. We bring in the whole fundraising component, but it's really to have these conversations and to just really destroy this stigma. And so I am hoping that when we are in New Orleans on that last day, and we're going to have a big celebration there in Audubon Park, and we're going to be, we're going to hopefully even like live stream it so everybody can see the entire team's ride it instead of just, a few riders at a time, like it'll be along the route. But we hope that what we will all know is that it was a job well done. It wasn't just the mileage, but mental health and physical health should go hand in hand. So we have that component going on. And then to just know we have these conversations to end the stigma so that people do not suffer in the darkness, that we brought this to light, and that they will get help, or that we can help even suicide survivors of the families and let them know, like, you are still not alone. Like, we are still here. We have resources to share. And, as long as we have humanity, we're going to have human problems. So let's solve them together.
Yeah, absolutely. What a beautiful message. I hope the exact same thing for you. And I can tell, as I've been learning about this event and talking with you today, that you have what it takes. You have the passion, you have the support, and the hope that's necessary to make everything happen that you just explained to me. So thank you so much, Erin. Once again, everyone, thank you for listening, and I'll make sure and link the ways that you can support and follow along as the Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation lights the trail. So thank you.
Thank you,
Have
Noah.
a good rest of your day, Erin.
You too. Thanks.